All right, family. All right, we are loud and clear. We are now live. Appreciate you guys, family, for joining on in. We got ourselves special guest King Cash. Um, he is very, very well known when it comes to astral projection. Astral projection is his specialty, and he's very intellectual when it comes to science. All right, so I appreciate you for coming on, family. Um, let's hear a little bit about yourself.
So, oh shoot, hold on, my dad just calling me. Of course, right? So, my full name is Vincent Cassius Kane. Uh, I am an empath and I work on TikTok and on Instagram. I started getting really conscious around COVID, and then I started awakening to myself, and there was a huge awakening related to that. And I really started heavily getting into astral projection, which led me to extraterrestrials, and that led me to the Galactic Federation. And then I realized that I worked with the Galactic Federation already, and then it led to a whole spiral of all this spiritual awakening that, growing up we were always told is, legend or is not real. And the more I tried to disprove it, it would just prove itself to be real more and more. So with this, I started doing a little research and studying this consciousness and spirituality thing that everybody was starting to talk about. And then I started to realize these powers that were coming into me. Like I started becoming really well at reading energy. And I always was an empath growing up, but I didn't even know what that was. So then things started spiraling. And then the more I tried to disprove it, the more it was proved right. And then from then on, I just got really heavily into all of this stuff.
Mm. So let me ask you this: when you say that you're part of the Galactic Federation, explain, elaborate more on that.
Okay, so most of people have heard about the idea of star seeds. Now,
Mm.
star seeds are essentially souls that have incarnated in human bodies but are not from this planet. So they come from another soul matrix, if you want to call it. The government likes to call them galactic ambassador star seeds, which is really interesting that they have a name for it. And um, with all of that, I started to see that most of these star seeds already work for the Galactic Federation. I'd always hear this Galactic Federation in my head, and I'd come across it so many ways. And what was interesting was I'd be sent on missions or assignments, they call it. But I just thought it was the universe, guiding me to do different things to help people. So, like, it would start with go to this party. There's going to be a guy who needs help, and he's like the important star seed. And I'd be like, okay. Then I'd go to the party, and then I would hear in my head, "Go to the train tracks, go to the train tracks."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Okay." So then I'd go, and then there's, the guy crying at the train tracks, and he's saying he needs help and all this. He just had all whatever happened to him, and his guides are standing right there, and they're telling me what he's gonna be doing in the future and all that, and why I was sent to help him. And that very much baffled me because it didn't it didn't make sense how I was being told to do these things and these beings are telling me all about them. And I always thought it was just the universe. I would say, "Oh, the universe sending me on another mission." And then all these beings would come to me asking me to help them with certain things like that, like to help their person, to help the person that they're supposed to help in the physical or things like that. And so from then on, I would just get more missions from them. And then they would tell me, you work with us. You chose to incarnate on Earth to be part of the ground team and help this planet, help the human beings on this planet to get out of this war that's here. And then I'd be like, war? Right? Like, what do you mean? And they would tell me about this fourth dimensional war, this astral war against other beings like reptilians and all of that. And then it got to the point where I was starting to get attacked by astral beings. And I would always tell myself, it's not real. This is not real. But all the time, it would just prove to be right. And then I'd go to readers and they'd be like, get ready, you're going to start getting attacked by reptilians. I didn't believe that. I was like, all right, lady, Like we're gonna see about that. And then all of a sudden I get weird people coming up to me with weird eyes and stuff like that. And I could just their energy showed a reptilian. But I was like, this can't be real. And then the more I started testing it, it just again would get proven to be right. So all that Galactic Federation stuff became normality to me at this point.
That's very interesting. I haven't heard a story yet that actually like people talking directly about being face to face with those type of beings. So is every chosen one, since you were talking about the Galactic Federation, is every chosen one a part of the Galactic Federation?
I actually asked that, and a lot will be. So, like the ones that are sent my way, most of the time they come in like one-on-one readings, like clients, and they come regularly. Most of them do work for the Galactic Federation, but they're not aware of it yet. And
Mm,
then maybe after a year of seeing them every month, then they awaken. They're like, "Oh my God, like I'm getting missions now." And I'm like, "There you go, like congratulations." And they all have their own unique way of connecting with the Federation or whatever it is, whatever their role is. So I would say generally most star seeds do work for the GFL, but that's actually a really good question. I would say yes. Generally, most of the time, yeah.
mm. Appreciate everyone, all the family coming in here. Well, we just getting started. We're just warming it up, and him talking about him being a part of the Galactic Federation. Um, a lot of so I like that you claim and you put yourself out there as a galactic, part of the Galactic Federation, because a lot of people in the community don't really like, put it out there like, hey, I'm part of the Galactic Federation. They just go by their own name, their
Yeah.
own brand. So I noticed you actually say, hey, I am the Galactic Federation. You say that out loud. And that's what also made you stand out in general from like most of the community, because you walk around like I'm part of the Galactic Federation. And um what would you say when it comes to, because we're gonna dive deeper into astral projection, but when it
Mhm.
comes to the Galactic Federation, what is their intention? These beings that are watching us, what is their intention?
I asked that in depthly a lot because I was trying to understand this war they're talking about. So we notice, I'll go into the war, which will explain it a lot. They talk about this fourth dimensional war where it's like 5D against 3D. And we may hear this a lot in the spiritual community because there's an agenda on this planet, or the dark forces, I call it, which have an agenda for Earth, which is essentially to enslave humans, which has already been happening a lot. And so they use the media and all of that. There's a huge agenda which most people already know about. I don't even have to say much about it. And it is so intricately planned, but with what is going on, the Federation sees it as, going against the rules. You illegally are doing things on a planet. But the funny thing is, the dark forces and what they've been doing on Earth, it's considered not illegal per se because it's like they said, how should I word it? They almost scammed humans, and which is what the dark forces like to do around the galaxy a lot. That's what the Federation always tells me. They say, look, the Draconians love to go to a planet that is less developed and offer them, power or whatever it is. And it goes really deep, but they're like, we will offer you this if you do this. And of course, humans are like, I'm down. Like, you're offering us power and technology. Sure, little do they know that they're being enslaved, or the Draconians are going to use humans. The whole plan, the agenda for the Draco is to use humans as like part of their forces, right? They want to take over the galaxy. This has happened for millions and millions of years. Now that they're here on Earth, and Earth has a lot of history and is a very beautiful and well-known planet. So now that they're doing it here, the Galactic Federation said, okay, well, if they are basically doing this without breaking the rules, they're not going against um, galactic law, but we still want to help humanity. So we are going to send star seeds, which happens a lot. They'll send people that are part of the Galactic Federation, like souls like that, and they'll have them incarnate on the planet to help in from the inside. And that is basically the agenda. They want to get humanity to 5D consciousness, and this has been they've been working toward this for thousands of years, and now we're at the point where humans have shifted into 4D. Now people are aware of spirits, they're aware of energy and all that and the truth. So now we're in the middle ground. And if we're going to get to 5D, we now have to make that jump. And this is what the 4D war they're talking about, because there's dark beings here saying, we want humans to stay in 3D so we could keep them. And then the
Mm.
Galactic Federation's here saying, look, we want humanity to be 5D. We want them to be free. And so this is where the war starts, and Earth is right in the middle of it. There's a lot of intricate galactic history, which would make it make more sense. And they've given me so much briefings about it, because I would ask questions all the time. I'm like, okay, well, doesn't make sense. Why, like, why am I here then? Why are beings, I gotta have beings come through my portal and they're telling me things? And at first I would test it. So I'd be like, okay, this Arcturian pulled through my portal and said this about this person. Then I would go to that person and be like, oh, your Arcturian guides came and said this. And they'd be like, how do you know that? How do you know that? And I'm like, because the Arcturians came through my portal. And so every day I would try and disprove it, and then more would come. So then I would start to accept this galactic information. And then when they gave me information about myself, like I would start to get memories about Lyra, which is like the civilization, the original civilization of the galaxy that led to all the other beings being created. And I was part of these Lyrans, and I saw the beginning war and my lives before this, and it led to more of a spiral, realizing myself. And like I remember before I incarnated here, I remember saying, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I remember fighting in the galaxy thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Your mic is going out a little bit. It sounds like you're too close, or it's like,
how does that sound?
yeah, that's better. There we go.
Okay. So it started to bother me, because I would see visions of like reptilians fighting humans and them at war with each other, and it lasting a really long time. And then I would ask like different readers, I'm like, what am I seeing? Like, why am I seeing reptilians and humans fighting? And they would tell me, you're a Lyran royal. Like, you came from Lyra and you were part of the royalty that were leading the civilization, and your planet was destroyed. And all of it is aligning with what I would see. I would see visions of planets being destroyed, and then the anger and the emotion. And so the deeper I got, the more missions I got, and the more insight on myself I got. It just got deeper and deeper into this galactic war that Earth is in the middle of.
Very interesting. So when we talk about benefits, let's get into astral projection. When we talk about benefits, a lot of people want to do things for the benefits. So when it comes to astral projecting, what are the benefits of astral projecting?
So when I was little, I was obsessed with astral projection. I was like, I heard about it when it was like 2015, around there. And I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to do that. I'd watch all these videos about leaving your body. And I couldn't do it consciously, but it got to the point like now where I do it every night. I go to sleep and I know I'm going to be going into the astral realm, and I'm going to be traveling and remember most of it. So benefits, I would say, realizing the truth of existence. You see your multi-layered reality. You realize, okay, the physical layer is just literally my encasing. Like, I chose to be in this so I could exist in the physical realm. And then when you die, you don't have that physical encasing anymore. So then you're just you have your astral body. And then you walk through the light, and then you abandon your astral body, and then it's just your soul. So you realize that bigger truth of, whoa, okay, when I die, that ain't it. Like, if anything, I'm freeing myself. And you go out there and you visit different extraterrestrial beings. And it's funny because if you go to some of their civilizations and you're like, yo, this is cool as hell. And you can be
Mm,
walking around, they have physical bodies, but they see you. And you're like, they'll be like, what is a human doing here? And they'll telepathically talk to you. They're like, what are you doing here? You should be on Earth. And you'll be like, oh, well, I'm just exploring whatever. And it's like, they already know about humans and they already know about you. Like when I travel, they already know who I am. I'm like, you know who I am? They're like, yep. And they'll tell me a little bit. They'll be like, you're a warrior. You fought around the galaxy for a long time, and now we're excited. We're watching you on Earth and what you're doing on Earth. And I'm like, and I'd have readers tell me you're known in the galaxy for what you're doing on Earth.
mm,
So to hear that, it makes you awaken to yourself, and you just your whole mind changes. You free yourself from the slavery, I would say.
yeah. Mm, mm.
It's very deep,
That's
man. I definitely think astral projection should be something that everybody taps into. You may not do it every single day, but when you do it, you start to see again every single thing, and then it leads you down what they call humans like to call a rabbit hole. And then all of a sudden you want to astral project, you want to astral project to the the moon and see what's there. You see what's there, and then your life changes because the moon ain't natural. I'll tell you that right now. You go there,
yeah,
and then you're like, what the hell? You go out there, you see the Earth is a sphere. It ain't flat,
yeah,
right? So it just goes deeper and deeper.
yeah. The moon not being natural is something crazy. With the so let me ask you this. I'm not sure if you do know about this, but if the moon isn't natural, um, like do you know about astrology? How Cancer is ruled by the moon?
I actually don't. The only thing I know about the moon is the Galactic Federation created it and the different extraterrestrials that are in there, and they created it like a base to watch over Earth. And then I listened to a bunch of different government workers, and they're all like, "Yeah, it's just extraterrestrials in there." But
Dang, that's
but the
crazy.
energy of like how the moon emits energy, that's still a real thing. So it literally does still do
It
its.
still emits. So it's like it's artificial, but we still are affected by it because we are in a human body. So we still have to deal with emotions and all this, all this physical things. Mm,
100%.
wow, that is some deep stuff, man. And it's something that you gotta be ready to hear a lot about that type of thing about the moon is fake. You gotta be ready to hear about that.
Yeah, especially when the government comes out about it, like they've been telling people, they're like the moon, like NASA said, the moon it has to be hollow because it rang like a bell when we did our tests on it. And so they tell you the truth, but they don't like tell you. They just put it out there and be like, "Oh, well, we put it out there." And that's how they remove their karma, they call it.
Hmm. When it comes to astral projecting, how does one stay anchored to the earth when they're astral projecting? Because a lot of people they can't stay anchored in the astral projection.
I always tell people, I say, don't worry about your astral cord snapping or none of that. Really, if you're afraid of not being able to go back in your body or anything like that, ask to travel with your guides. Say, guys, can you come with me while I go wherever? Or can you take me somewhere? And they'll come flying down and then they'll be like, all right, where do you want to go? And then they're going to take you wherever the hell you want. So if you're afraid of anything, don't be, because the astral
Mm,
realm is very secure. Yes, you may come across shadow beings, especially when you're in sleep paralysis and your awareness is in your astral body and you see those shadow people and all of that. It's because they like the idea that a human's astral and they're trapped in their body and that they could scare them. So I know this is a lot. They'll go there and
mm.
they'll stand there and they'll scare people because they can literally feed off of your fear while you're trapped in your body, but astrally aware.
That's what
So
I did. I was in you mind me sharing this story? I was in a sleep paralysis state and I couldn't like move my body. So I tried to use that sleep paralysis because sleep paralysis is a gateway to higher dimensions and astral projection. So I used that opportunity of sleep paralysis to astral project. And what actually ended up happening was the shadow beings they came and they started definitely. It was like, screaming and, trying to put me in my root chakra to
Yeah.
prevent me from coming out and to prevent me from leaving my body. So after that, I never actually projected again.
See, I notice that a lot, especially with my clients, is they get afraid then because and they think it's demonic. You'll hear this a lot in religion. They're like, it's demonic, it's demonic. Really, it has duality just like the physical dimension. The fourth dimension is where duality stops. Because once you get to 5D, you have to abandon low vibrations altogether. So when you're in the astral, you gotta expect that there's gonna be light and dark. And then you just have to learn how to maneuver the astral realm and how to essentially not be afraid. If you're in the fear energy, you're gonna attract
Right.
what we call demons and shadow people and all
Hmm.
that. If you're in light, then you're gonna attract what we call angels or fairies and all of that. So learning about the astral realm is literally a whole nother layer. And if you decide you want to traverse it and you want to learn about it, then you could travel all night and be going places learning about the universe and then come back to your physical body. Like when I travel, I will go out and then I'll go back to my physical body and just like wake up my physical body for a second. And I'll be like, okay, just to like root back. And then I will go back out again. And maybe I'm going to somewhere else in the galaxy or I am going another space and time. Whatever it is, I'm either gaining training. I get a lot of astral training, which you'll hear a lot of starseeds talk about,
Hmm.
or I'm literally gaining some sort of knowledge or wisdom that they want me to know. And then when I go back into the physical, I take that with me. I would definitely recommend you guys, if you are feeling called to explore more of your internal makeup, then the astral will almost essentially awaken you to that. And it always just shows you the raw truth of what's really out there.
Mm. Mm. So sleep paralysis. Some people say sleep paralysis is a state where your spirit is trying to get back inside your body. And I know the viewers watching, a lot of y'all can relate. Y'all probably had sleep paralysis before. But when we talk about sleep paralysis, some people believe sleep paralysis is a demon sitting on top of your spirit and on top of your body, and you're trapped in your body because you're like trapped in that astral state because that demon is there. So truly, what is sleep paralysis?
It is really just when your body's asleep, but your mind's awake and your awareness is within your astral body, but you haven't hopped out yet. Whenever people ask me,
Mm.
how do I stop sleep paralysis? I'm like, just hop out your body. That's all you got to do. You just will yourself out or literally pull yourself out because it's
Mm.
just your body's asleep and it's like they call it a glitch. Like your body's asleep, but you're awake and you're laying in your astral body within your physical body. And because it's locked, it's easy to just hop out. You could literally just move your hand outside of your hand and you'll see your astral body. So any of
Mm.
you get the process, try just hopping out because with that, it's like super easy. I always tell people it's the gateway, like you said, to astral projection. It makes it super easy for you.
Hmm. It sure is. So how do you shut down the fear of astral projection? Like when you in the astral plane, how do you shut down that fear?
So whenever people first want to astral project, I tell them research about it. Get to know what's out there, the good and the bad. Because yes, there's demons out there. Yes, there's all those negative things. But yes, there's also all those positive things. And if you're on a planet like Earth where it's mixed vibrations, you're gonna get both. But if you go to a very angelic planet, sometimes you won't be able to enter because your energy is too low. Like to them, you're considered like how we would look at a demon. They consider you very low vibrational, which is really interesting. So I want to say if you want to remove any fear related to the astral realm when you are in the astral realm, you can first ask your guides to come with you. I always tell people that. Or just accept everything's here and how will I handle it? You could, if you have an understanding of how to handle certain situations, then you won't be afraid. when it comes, when you're like, okay, if I see a dark being, I'm either going to call my guides, or I'm just going to shoot light out my hand, or create an astral weapon, or
Mm.
create a tulpa. This is where we get in depth with astral projection, because you could create a tulpa, which is like an energetic being to protect your body while you're gone,
Ooh.
things like that. And people barely know about those things, but we create tulpas, especially if you're really spiritual, you create tulpas in your physical body astrally. And I have tulpas protecting my portals, and I have like tulpas protecting my family members when they're out. Like sometimes I'll send them for certain missions. Like if a kid's being attacked by a spiritual being, I'll send one, or like one of my astral army members, and they'll go, and then the kid will be like, I see her, and it'll protect the kid for as long as I say. So there's so much tools you have at hand when you're astral projecting, but they want you to think don't do it as demonic, or like they have like the Insidious movie where you get trapped outside your body. That's
Yeah.
that. Okay, yes, you could get trapped out your body, but it's not very common. Like people are like, oh, your astral cord could snap, which is the cord that connects your astral to your physical, no matter how far you go. It only snaps when your physical body dies. Okay, and there has been instances where you try and go back to your body, but maybe it takes a few seconds to get back in. I'll be honest with you guys, that is truth. But if you while you're doing anything, your guides are always watching you, because that's their job, is to make sure that while you're incarnated, you're safe. You can call
Yeah.
on them, they're watching you, you good.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Yeah, you elaborated on that real good, man. I appreciate you for that. So,
Thanks, man.
see, all my people watching, this is a great time to get your journal out. He's going into on some advanced knowledge about astral projecting. So, what are some advanced ways to upgrade your being in the astral plane? Besides of what you just said, what other tricks and tips can you give to people watching?
I say just do it. Just do it, and then learn as you go, feel it out, listen to people that astral project,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're not astral projecting, get used to the astral while you're in your physical. So, for example, um, like I have an astral portal. I have astral beings that come in and out and that protect my portal. I
Mm.
do energetic shields around my room, especially because I had some astral projectors coming in my room, and I would see them, and I'm like, all right, we got to make some sort of shield. And then it'd be around my house, stuff like that. It was getting crazy with the amount of astral things happening around me. So the spiritual and the physical started to mesh. Tell y'all an example. So the skate park has always been, if you guys watch me on YouTube, you guys know the skate park's always been, at this moment in time, a big part of my missions. So long story short, um, the Federation would tell me, there's kids at the skate park being attacked by reptilians. Get ready, you got to go there soon. And I'm like, okay, we go see. And then I go there, and then a little boy comes up to me. You're spiritual, right? I follow you on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah. And he's like, there's a reptile being that keeps attacking me and no one believes me, and it's pushing me down hills and all of that. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, this is like real. And the kid's like, I felt like you could help me or whatever. And there were so many coming into the skate park. I could see them with my astral eyes. Literally, like the energy around the skate park was like that. So I meshed the astral and the physical. Got to the point where I went to my crystal master, and I told him, I said, yo, like these reptilians are everywhere. What should I do? He told me how I should protect the skate park. Long story short, get these crystals and bury them in the corners of the skate park and make a shield and put one in the middle or wear it. So I did that, and I felt the shield. It felt good. And after that day, the skate park was full of kids. They were like, everybody was like, I have a video. They're all like, oh my God, the skate park feels so good today. I don't know what happened. It just feels so good today. And I was like, I ain't say nothing, right? I just kept silent. And I would notice, this was low-key the scary part at first, was I could feel um little reptilians coming, but some of them were physical. There was two guys at one point who walked up to the skate park, and I knew instantly they're reptilians. I kept hearing ding, 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 reptilian, and they pull up and they stop literally where the shield is, exactly where the shield is. He looked at the ground and he cussed. He went, "Fuck!" And then he walked away with his friend, and they walked away angrily. And I was like, okay, it was
Mm,
giving me more receipts. And then
yeah.
there'd be like dark people walk up and they would stop exactly where the shield is and then just decide to walk away. Some didn't even know what was happening. They were just like, I should stay out of here. And then I had people drive by and take pictures of me and stuff like that. And so everything was aligning to, you did it and it's working 100%. So that's a good example of meshing the astral and the physical. And then when you go to the astral realm at night or whenever you decide to, you could go and be on the same level as it. So you'll see the shield and all of that and interact with it. But while you're in your physical body, you could do that still.
Mm, mm. Do you need a fast when it comes to astral projecting? Do you need a fast? Because a lot of people say, also, can you raise up your microphone? It sounds kind of low. Is there a way for you to to raise up the volume,
Oh yeah, let me see if I could do that.
your input volume? Yeah, because you do sound kind of low.
Can you hear me better there?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I just had to turn it up.
So yeah, do you have to fast to astral project? Because a lot of people can't astral project. Like if they try, it won't work. So they're like, "Yo, what do I do? Do I have to fast? Does my body have to be that light for my soul to leave the body?" So we need to know what is the routine to astral project. What do you have to do?
So I don't fast, but what I'll do is I notice I started experimenting for a few years, like, okay, how can I astral project? How can I make it easier? One thing I've noticed is if you eat a lot before bed, you're not gonna astral travel.
You're
You're
done,
so
right?
heavy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So the
you're done.
most I'll do is like at 9 o'clock, I'm like, all right, don't eat nothing. And then I go to bed at 12 and then my body's good. Or if I eat, it's really light. But as you astral project a lot, you're gonna notice you don't want to eat so heavily anymore, anyways. Like for dinner, you're good with like a mango and a watermelon, and then you're literally fine. And you're like, I feel light and nice.
Mm,
So you may end up it'll make it easier if you fast, right?
mm,
Um, Prioritizing energy 100% because the astral is energy and mind based. Um, and I always recommend putting a selenite under your pillow. Selenite makes it easier. Like if you put it under your pillow, it's gonna make your dreams very vivid, like almost so vivid that it's like
yeah.
real life.
That was the first
Um,
crystal I got recommended to stop nightmares. Selenite is like that shuts down nightmares like to the max.
It is actually really good. So I did that and it made astral projection really easy too. Like I just put it
Mm.
under my pillow or beside my bed and I'd be traveling all night. It got to the point where I was like, all right, I gotta put this thing away because it's getting like really strong. But after a while you get so good at it and you're just like, yep, I want astral projection night, and you intentionally put that out there all the time. Your soul wants it. You're gonna astral project naturally every night without even like trying.
Mm. So selenite and then eating less at night. Like eat like saying small meal, no fruit. I mean maybe a fruit, small meal, selenite under the pillow, and you're gonna astral project way more.
And
See?
prioritize your energy because energy, you are feeling the astral realm whether you know it or not. People are always like vibes, or maybe you're an empath or you're clairsentient and you feel energy really clearly. You're aware of the astral realm 24/7. So if you get in that mode where you're aware of the astral realm and you develop your abilities to start to sense the astral realm without astral projecting, then when you astral project, it's just like, oh well, half my life I'm in my physical body and half my life I'm in my astral body. So it's like you split it up like that and you make it normal. So when you make astral projection something that's like, yep, I'm gonna go and I got a mission over here or I got a meeting with these beings, then it's like it's just normality. You don't have to try nothing. Like for me, it's normal. I'm like, okay, tonight where am I finna go? Or they'll tell me, "Oh, you're gonna go here, here tonight." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." Sometimes I won't remember, sometimes I will, and I'm cool with that. Astral training is really cool as well. If you make dreams messages, know that they're messages, and take them as training as well. It's like what you learn in the astral and what you do in your dreams, you take with you when you go back to the physical. You're like one of my trainings is like defeating dark beings. So
Mm,
they'll test me and see if I could defeat a reptilian in the astral.
mm,
One being I can't beat is this damn little girl. Is this little girl demon that always comes, and they'll send her to see if I could do it. And it's always the hardest. I don't know why I can't beat this damn little girl, but that's my training because then I go back and then I'm like, okay, what did I learn while I was there? And then it literally helps me in my physical life.
hmm.
So I'd say astral, being in the astral, just like everyday life. Everything I do there, I take with me in the physical, and everything I do in the physical, I take with me to the astral.
Hmm. So Illuminati said in one of his videos, he said, this is one of his Patreon exclusive videos. You know what he said? He said that people be astral projecting into his house, and he said it, and he was like, make sure y'all not like doing room tours and showing your whole house because people will literally astral project to your house and stay there and like spy on you and watch you. And then you said something about people was trying to astral project into your room, and I'm like, dang, like people really do this.
Yep. It's for real. So I'd have a lot of people that
Mm,
watch me. They're like, "Oh, I could astral project. Let me see what's up." And I have a portal in my room, so a lot of them could just easily waltz through the portal. And then I was like, "Okay, first now I need to make a lock on this portal to make sure only fifth dimensional beings or higher could come through. Only beings that are going to help me on my Earth mission are coming through." And then I have a guard to make sure anything that comes in that's not allowed is going to be kept out.
isn't that called remote viewing?
So remote viewing will be when you are in your physical body and you could view a place remotely. So you're not there, but you could see it. That when people remote view like my room, I could feel that too. It just feels like there's eyes floating around your room. And then that person, wherever they are in the world, can see what my room looks like or what my house looks like. But people
So if
that
I
astral
was,
project, they'll
uh,
literally go to your room and be astrally in your room. And I can see them and I can feel them. I'm like, why y'all just waltzing up my room like that? But first, I'm nice. I'm like, okay, hey, you're checking out my room, okay. And then after, I was like, all right, let's make that shield because I don't need all that.
yeah, it's kind of weird. You don't know what the heck people watching you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah.
if you like doing some? What if you're doing some? You know what I'm saying? But so you're saying remote viewing is actually when you're still in your physical body and you're like, just getting an image of your head. You're not leaving your body.
Mhm.
That is actually crazy. Wow.
And
Remote
we
viewing.
could all train to easily do that. There's some on Gaia TV I watched years ago, and it was teaching this random lady on the street how to remote view, and she did it. She was surprised. She was like, "How could I see?" She could literally just see small things, like she could see. She was trying to remote view a fair, and then she could see like seats, and she could see red and maybe like a unicorn and stuff. And she's like, oh, "How come like this is what I'm seeing?" And then they said, "This is what it looks like," and she was saying, I was seeing that." And you can remote view easily. Like where I'm at spiritually, I can remote view a place, but I don't really see a need to. Like maybe I'll remote view if I have a reading with someone, and I'll remote view their house, and maybe I'll send an astral guard to their house. Like for example, one guy, he may even be watching this. Um, he was a client that I knew had a reptilian coming to his house frequently. So I sent an astral guard. Long story short, I sent an astral guardian to his house, and just to get a good scan of his room, and so he could believe like that I have an astral guard in his room. He's like, first he's like, I can feel someone in my room. Like that's just my astral guard. And I said, okay. She said that there's a crystal hidden underneath wherever here, and then he would be like, oh my god, yeah, it's this one. And I'd be like, okay, my guard said that's the one you got to use here or put here or whatever. And so I would use those guards to scan a place. And
Mm.
then from there, I could get an idea of the energy and the beings that are around. And for me, that's the best way I do it. But you could easily just do it on your own, just saying, I want to see here and then working on it.
Okay, so what about protection symbols and like sage and gargoyles? Does that having those in your house like send out those reptilians and all that?
100%, but
Okay,
not like exactly how you think. So, for example, sage, I don't really use sage a lot because it cleanses everything.
everything. It's
It
like a
takes out
vacuum cleaner.
all.
It's heavy duty. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to clean up house, you got that sage. You open the window and then you let all the energy out. Most of the time now I just light an incense programmed with a certain energy that I want. So if like I want dragon energy, I get an incense that has dragon energy,
Hmm.
which usually ends up being a dragon incense. And then I light that. And from there, um, those things are really just energetic tools. So like I always have these crystals with me, and each of them, like this one, I call my 5D crystal. This one is attached to the fifth dimension and always emits 5D energy. So if I'm going somewhere and I know it's gonna be it's gonna be a hard mission because I'm gonna be surrounded by darkness, I'll just like slide this one in my pocket, and then it'll be an energetic portal for me. So it'll supply that energy for me. Um, like for example, let's say this one. So this one is just carnelian, but it's connected to it's just connected to the fire element though. So with that, whenever I need fire energy or I need that more around me, like some of these bracelets I wear, then I just keep that as essentially just energetic
What you
portals.
got? You got malachite on?
Malik, I think that's what this one is, right?
Oh, we got the same crystal on.
Oh, let's go. This one's real good
Hey,
for psychic abilities, you know.
yeah, this one is powerful. Like demons, they're scared of that little lines because it's powerful. Y'all want some
Hmm.
crystals? Beyond go beyond5d.com.
I'm
But
telling you. So you get any of these, like this one is I forget what this one is called. But
that
these
looks
are
that darker one looks like red garnet. That looks
yes,
like red
this is
garnet.
red. This one's
Yeah,
red garnet, and then this one I think is red calcite or something like that,
yeah,
fire something, and it's
yeah.
connected with the fire element. So with those, it's like whenever I need a certain energy and I know I'm going somewhere or I need a little supplement of something, I'll just slide it on fast.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's
So
crazy.
spiritual tools, very important.
What you think
Honestly,
about?
I could not survive without incense, to be frank.
Yeah. What you think about gargoyles? You know that is
um,
for protection.
yes. So in my version, I use lions. So I'll actually have like stuffed animals that are like my protectors, literally, and
Mm.
I'll have some like right under my portal. I have some lion pharaohs that protect the portal. Yes, and then I have one outside my door. So
Mm.
definitely, you could see like inanimate objects. You could create tulpas with them. It's something called tulpas.
Because it's
So
all about your intention. So as long as you have something, you just give it an intention. Boom, it has the power.
exactly, and you literally have to cast the energy on it. So my stuffed animals I have over here, one of them is literally to protect me while I sleep. And
Mm.
so whenever I see it in the astral, it literally has the energy all over it and it has the tulpa on it. And it's like, I got you, I got you. And I have a crystal, actually, a dragon crystal that's right beside my bed. That's my protector. Anywhere I travel, I need that thing to protect me while I'm astral, or else I'm gonna feel like I need to keep going back to my body to make sure and check up. So I
Mm.
have that dragon crystal as a protector.
Mm. That's the first time. Do you got a sword on the top of your dresser? A
That's
katana?
actually, yep, that's my sword I use in the astral as well.
Dang.
Yep.
I have
So,
a sword too. Do you mind if we see that? Or
oh yeah, you guys want to see it? Hold on a sec.
that looks like, I don't know how I noticed that, y'all. Like I was just like, dang, what is that?
So, let me see how well I can zoom out here. So, what it looks like.
Mm. Yeah, that's a bad sword.
So, once I started
Damage.
awakening to my Lyran self, I kept seeing this sword. So there was a certain sword I would always fight with in the Lyran Wars. It is very similar to this. And whenever I'm in the astral realm and I'm fighting something, say I'm in the astral war and I'm fighting, it's like right when you're in the astral, sometimes you don't think, oh, let me make an astral sword. You're like, where's a weapon in my house I could go and get real quick? So I'll literally use the energy of this sword in the astral.
Mm.
So this was my favorite.
That's yeah, it's very shiny. I love it, man. Hmm.
So if you guys are going to be astral projectors, I would recommend getting like a weapon that you keep in your room, because sometimes you're in the astral and then you're like, oh shoot, something's attacking me. And you'll literally, even though it's physical, you'll go for it. And then you'll take the energy of it and use it.
Mm. And you said, how do you know if someone's remote viewing you again? You said you feel eyes. What about if someone's astral projecting towards you? How would you know? Like, were you in your
So if
dreams?
you
Like,
have someone astral projecting in your room or near you, you could literally feel like someone's there. Like you're like someone's standing there, but nobody's there. And people are always like, oh, I thought someone was standing behind me for a second. You're literally feeling an astral being. So once you get really more psychic and your third eye opens more, you'll be able to either see the person or you'll be able to differentiate. You'll be like, okay, this is a dark being, or this is an angel, or this is an astral projector. Remote viewers, it feels like there's eyes around your room. So like my friends would remote view and I could feel them. Like if they feel like either like floating heads or like floating eyes that are moving around. I could feel them peeping around my room. And the one guy, he lives in Germany and he decided to remote view my room.
uh-huh.
And he told me, he's like, because I have a shield, and he was kind of scaring me because he burst through my shield, and he's like, bruh, you can't hold me back. And I was laughing because I'm like, how does this man, like, he was so powerful and he could see everything in my room. And then at one point I got a little nervous, so I tried to cast him out, and
Mm-hmm.
he texted me back. He's like, you can't cast me out, you know either. I was like, shit, like this guy's good. So when you do get pretty into the astral realm and into all of this, it starts becoming normal to have the shields and to have all of that. But at the beginning, it's kind of chaotic. You're like, I gotta do all that. But once you get in it, it's like, yeah, I got a tulpa there. I got
Mm.
shield here. It's normal.
Mm. Shout out all the 114 family members watching. We're getting it in, talking about astral projection. Um, Very, very powerful astral projection teacher, Galactic Federation. Um, and I appreciate you for being here. So the next question we got is, when someone's remote viewing you, or around you, astral projecting around you, and they're watching you, how don't you know that that's your spirit guides? Like, because you can't really see them. So how don't you know that's not your spirit guides or your angels?
So when you work on your abilities, it'll get easier. At the start, it was hard. I could just tell there was someone here, but I didn't know who it was. So like I
Mm,
go to the gym
okay.
and I could feel all these damn spirits walking around. And then 2 years later, once I started using it a lot, like every single day, like you literally working out your third eye like a muscle. And then all of a sudden I could feel like Archangel Michael pull up while I'm at the gym. He literally pulled up in front of me and he was like, yo, this guy that you're mentoring is gonna need help. So then I was like, okay. Like I could see him standing right from me. I was like, whoa, like what are you doing here while I'm at the gym? And he's like, Cash, I need you this blank. And then I would test it. I was like, okay, I'll text the guy, and the guy was like, no, I'm good now, but is everything well, I'll let you know if something's happening. And then he texts me the next day, Cash, Archangel Michael was right. I need help now. Can you help me? And I was
Mm,
like, okay. So I was able to differentiate that was Archangel Michael from the energy because it was
mm,
pure and I could see him in my mind's eye. So the energy I felt, I was like, whoa, okay, there's an angel here, obviously. And
yeah.
then my mind's eye showed Archangel Michael, and I kept hearing Michael in my head. So then it's like I'm mixing the different the clairs to get an understanding of the astral realm. The whole goal is to be able to perceive the astral realm just as clearly as the physical. but of course, we all gotta work in getting there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right away, just trust your instincts and trust energy 100%.
When it comes to angels, archangels are like the head of the angels, right? So I heard archangels, they take a lot of, you feel their presence, hyper present. You feel their presence when they're in your room. So
Mhm.
um when Archangel Michael, like when he you say he saw you at the gym.
Yeah, I was literally on the machine, and he pulled up right in front of me, and it
Mm,
startled me for a second. I was like, "Whoa," because I could see. I was like, "What's up, Michael?" And I've worked with him a few times related to other clients and stuff like that. So
yeah.
right away, it surprised me the way he just pulled up like that. No one else could see him but me.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what? Actually, let me add. Um,
Hmm.
People will be able to feel, most people feel energy, but they don't fully understand it yet. So sometimes I'll have a lot of spirits around me, and I always have guards that follow me, and I'll be on mission, and then I'll be with my cousin who's really sensitive as well, but not really spiritual yet. She's just sensitive, and she could hear the spirits talking to me. She's like, and people around here call me Vinny. They're like, Vinny,
Okay.
I keep hearing your name. I keep hearing your name being called, but nobody's calling your name. And I'm just smiling. I'm like, okay, she could hear the astral realm, but she's not even aware of it yet.
Mm. So since you're really big into astral projecting, right? You must be big into dreams, to dream
Mhm.
work. Dream work is something that it's a stepstone for your spiritual journey. Once you go into dream work, you're able to find out a lot about your future and see your subconscious fears and things like that.
Mhm.
What are 99% of dreams? Are they the future? A lot of people always ask them, are they subconscious fears? Are they what are most of them?
Dreams can be many different things, and this is where it confuses people
Mm,
because consciousness is very grand. It's like you can't just say spirituality is demonic or it's angelic because there's duality in
well,
conscious awareness.
okay.
So with dreams, it could be multi-layered. So you could literally be using it as a training ground where you want to build things. The dream realm is your mind space.
Okay.
It's like your mind universe. So different beings could jump into your dreams and talk to you, or you could astral project and jump in someone else's dream realm,
Mm,
and they're literally like it's a whole nother universe of its own. It's your universe. So sometimes you're just getting messages from your subconscious. So like I keep dreaming about a secret room like in my cottage or my house, and I'd always be excited. And then I realized that was a message that things that are hidden are gonna be exposed to me soon. I'm gonna find hidden things, and of course I was. So sometimes my dreams would tell me the future, like I would dream future, and they would get scary because they'd be really clear. So I would dream. Sometimes I would astral project, and then right before I wake up, I would jump in the dream realm, and it would tell me what my day is gonna look like. But they talk in code. So maybe they'll show me a hole in the grass, and then someone like tripping in the grass, and then in the hole there's like a cellar. And then I go on a meeting with my soul family, and the girl's like, "Oh, I broke my leg in a hole in the grass." And I was like, "Okay, well, is there like a cellar or something near there?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah. How'd you know that?" And I'm like, "Oh shit. Okay, so I'm just getting these future dreams, like premonitions they call it, and I'd get
mm,
multiple of those. So dreams
mm,
are very multi-layered. It could be signs, visitations, build. It could be a build realm where you build multiple different ways you could use a dream realm.
mm. What do nightmares mean?
Nightmares, I would just consider them dark dreams, just like how you have very bright and dreams that you don't want to wake up from. You
Mm.
have the same polarity and everything, right?
So, like, let's say you get like a nightmare and you see like an event that you don't want to happen. Is like what I'm trying to say is like, how do you know that's not the future, or it's just your mind battling?
Actually, that's a really good question because I actually would ask that a lot myself. And I'm
Hmm.
only still studying this on my
Mm,
own
okay.
because now I'm in the mode where I'm they're teaching me how to differentiate prophetic dreams from just a regular dream. And let me tell you right now, there's different energies, and people that are sensitive to energy will know what I mean. It just has a different energetic signature. So prophetic dreams, it's the energy. It's hard to describe energy, but it's like you know what's gonna happen. And then a dream that's just like a visitation, you could feel like the person that's there, they act different. Like they act different than the dream. It's like they jump in and then they're talking to you. Maybe they're telling you something and they're like, "Look, you need to know this or that." Maybe it's a dead family member, and you could feel them there. Like it's not a mimic
Mm,
of them; it's actually them.
mm,
So that'll be like that. For example, if it's a dark being attacking you, like I'll say this. Long story short, when I first opened my portal, it was an experiment. I was like, "Oh, I want to see if this portal power I'm told I have is real." I
mm,
opened up, I got this huge ass mirror in my room, lined up the crystals, made it, and then I was like, you know what? Whatever wants to come through could come through. And that was low key a mistake because I did that, and then a shadow person came through and walked in my dream. But right away, I'm dreaming normally, and then the shadow person is trying to scare me in the dream. And I told him, I'm like, right away, I don't know how I knew. I was just like, you're not supposed to be here. This is my dream.
mm,
And it kept changing the dream to my fears so that I'd be fearful because it wanted to feed off of my fear. So then when it realized it couldn't scare me, I woke up and I literally, this what scared me the most is I heard footsteps walk away from my bed and walk into the mirror. And from that day, I was like, okay, this portal shit's real. And now I need to put a lock on it to make sure only certain vibrational beings can come through. So with that, it's like I knew that being was there because intuitively, I guess I was like, you're not supposed to be here, and your intentions. If you're clairsentient, you can feel their intentions. They're like, obviously, they're trying to scare me, and they
mm,
want me to be in this state because they want to feed off of it.
mm, mm. Hmm. That's very interesting. So let's say you see like an ex in your dream. Does that mean that they're thinking about you? Does that mean that they're like trying to get into like what does it mean when you see someone in your dream that you like used to know? Because a lot of people ask this question on
Mhm.
TikTok and on YouTube. But what is that? What's the true meaning of that when you see someone in your dream?
See dreams as a divine coded messaging system.
Okay.
So anytime you have, okay, dreams, we'll say dreams are pretty fuzzy. Like it's like you're kind of distant, it's kind of cloudy, but astral projections is like real as this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that for people that want to differentiate. So with dreams, if you dream about something a lot, like for example, the secret room I kept dreaming about, I was like, what are you trying to tell me? And I realized that was a messaging system. Higher dimensional beings and the higher realms speak in code to you because they also want you to figure it out yourself. So they may give you coded message like you keep dreaming about this person. So then
Mm,
you know that they're in your auric field, I call it. They're in your view, and you're either going to come across them or you need to message them or they're thinking about you. No matter what, there's some sort of energy related to them around you. So I would take that as a general sense, like, okay, this could be multiple things, but let's just see, because sometimes it's just like when you pull cards and it's like you know what the message is, but you don't know exactly what it's going to be. Exactly with dreams. I would take it
mm,
as a cool messaging system and then be excited to see how it's going to come into fruition.
hmm. Mm. What are the top 3 tips to lucid dream? To take
Ooh,
control, yeah. To,
I
to,
like
to
this.
really like once you in that dream state, to really take control, full control of your mind.
I like it because lucid dreaming is actually the gateway to astral projection too. Once you're aware you're lucid, you can
Mm,
easily pop into the astral realm. And
mm,
that's the way I use actually. So when it gets easier over time because when you mesh the spiritual, the astral and the physical, um, it makes it easier because then you'll be like, all right, am I physical or astral right now? and you'll be like, okay, I'm astral or I'm physical because blank. And you have a way to check and a way to know constantly what you or what state you're in. And I suggest everybody try that way. We call it, a lot of people online call it reality checks or constant state of awareness when you're aware, okay, I'm in the physical right now. Because then when you do that and you go to the astral, you'll be like, oh, I'm in the astral and I know this because blank. So you have, when you have this constant awareness, it makes it super easy to get lucid because you'll be like, oh, I have to be dreaming because of this and whatever. Because if you ever assume you're just in the physical or you're in the astral, that creates problems and makes it cloudy for you. So become aware of your state of being 24/7 and have reality checks. So maybe you're just walking down the street and you're like, wait, am I astral or physical right now? And because when you get to the point where you're astral projecting all the time, you're going to ask yourself that naturally all the time. You're going to be like, okay, I'm physical right now and I'm going to test it out. I know I'm physical because this and that, this is that. You do a little analysis and then you're good. So that way I found the easiest. And yes, it takes longer. People are like, I want a quick way. I want to just be able to do it tonight. Some things are going to take you, especially if you're not gifted in astral projection where you could just close your eyes and do it. It's going to take you some time. So try the lucid dreaming technique, and longer term wise, it's going to be a benefit because now I'm like, I'm glad I didn't force my third eye open like some people would do, or I didn't pressure myself to ask. It's easy for me.
Okay, yeah, it was a little glitch right there. Okay, so the next question. All right, I appreciate everyone, all the family, for watching. We're getting it in, talking about astral projection, lucid dreaming. The next question we're gonna ask King Cash is succubuses. When you're in the dream realm or on the astral realm, how do you get away from these succubuses? Because even me, I practice semen retention, and a lot of people watching this, a lot of the young fellas and even the women practice, celibacy, SR. So they are faced with incubuses, succubuses, and entities that do want to absorb their energies, particularly the
Yes.
sexual energy, because the sexual energy is one of the most potent energies that you have besides your love force. So, how do you protect yourself from succubuses, incubuses?
Oh, I've had a few of those. And I love studying dark beings to see how their minds work. They will go for you when you have that buildup, you'll notice, of that sexual energy, and you can't stop it most of the time. You're in the astral, and then maybe you're just having a sexual dream where someone's pulling up on you and it's a sex demon. And that's why I always say try to become aware of your state of emotional being all the time and then learn how to control it, even though it's hard. But like for me, for example, doing the semen retention, I tried that and I would just get attacked a lot. And the
Yeah.
buildup of, I noticed, I'm gonna say this real quick. Um, I was always told that I had a love power. And it was like when I'm around, like if I really like somebody, then they're gonna like me back no matter who they are. And I started testing it out and it literally worked every single time. To this day, it
Mm,
still works. Like I'll just find them attractive and I'll be at the gym and then I'll find them attractive and they'll pull up on me and they'll be like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, oh, it's happening. It's happening like every single day. So
dang.
I noticed for me, if I do semen retention and I don't release sexual energy on my own, then it'll build up and then people will like flood me, like they'll be all over me, or if I have even a little bit of love toward them, they're gonna be obsessed with me. And I'm like, oh no, okay. So I realized after I have to release the sexual energy or else it's gonna build up. And I'm a very like the love energy, I guess, like I'm always told, is very strong within me. So if I don't release it, it's gonna cause it. So um I, then I asked the Federation because people would say, well, you should, be celibate and all of that, semen retention, build it up, have that power. And I'm like, yes, if you don't have a lot of love energy, it's for sure gonna be powerful. But if you have a lot, put that love energy towards something. So if you do masturbate, you we call it sex magic. You're literally thinking about what you want as you climax, and then
Mhm.
that energy like goes hugely into the universe, and then you can manifest whatever you want really quickly. So you could instead, so if you're like me and you can't put that energy, like you can't hold on to it too long, put it toward something else, or give out love. Like people like me, I gotta give out love to people. Like my mom, I gotta hug her all the time, I gotta kiss her all the time, I gotta love my family up all the time, because that energy builds up in me.
Yeah. Wow, that is crazy. Wow. And I've been told, I just had a consultation with Brother Yosef, and he was saying like when you go on SR, no fap, you gotta be like it's not easy because you can get like intense very easily. Like your energy is amplified. So if you
Mhm.
don't use it to like go to the gym, you gotta go like A1 in the gym. You gotta do something crazy with your life, or else you might as well just relapse. Because if you relapse, you're gonna be normal. But if you go on SR, you're gonna be like to the it's gonna make you an extremist. It's gonna make you to the extreme. So you have to make sure if you like holding your sexual energy that you're actually doing something that you want to do, because
If
it's
you
an
don't
extreme
put it
energy.
towards something, you're gonna get attacked by succubus, or
Yeah,
you're gonna have a wet dream, something like that.
yeah, facts. It's gonna it's not for everyone. I feel like um like he was even saying you could still become successful without holding your sexual energy.
Mhm.
Holding your sexual energy just gives you an amplification of something. But it's all about free will. We're not here to force any. I'm not here to force. King Cash. We ain't here to force y'all. Tell y'all, hey, yo, do this, do this. Y'all do whatever y'all want. We all got free will. You know what I'm saying? But y'all do whatever
Mhm.
y'all want. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
find what works for you, because it was
What
just
works for you?
like with like when I was growing up, they would always say, you're an empath, and I struggle a lot with energy. They were like, make a shield around you to block out the energy. But I knew something wasn't right about that. I'm like, I want to feel people's energy. That would be of benefit. And so, yes, I did struggle many years with feeling everybody's everything. But then I started finding my way of dealing with it, which was learning how to become an emitter and a receiver. So it's like when I go to the gym, I don't want to I don't want to hear this guy's thoughts, and I don't want to know that he just got in a divorce and he wants the pum pum. And I don't want to go over here and then hear this girl saying, "Oh, is he looking at me?" and all that. It's too damn much. So I'm like, all right. So I go to the gym and I just think about like why I'm here. I'm like, I'm here. I emit like lion energy or something. And then everybody
Mhm.
else feels that. So then they're like, whoa, you emit lion energy. But then if I focus on them again and I engage, then I'm gonna hear their thoughts, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit. So that's a way that worked for me. I realized I could be a strong reader if I could turn it on and off like that and not make the shield. And all those people that were telling me to make a shield were like, how are you doing what you do and all that. And I'm like, I do what I do because I didn't listen to your advice to make that shield.
Hmm.
So think for yourself sometimes. Yes, take advice or take understanding and knowledge from people, but then think for yourself so then you could do your own thing. Because I'll tell
So
you right
when it,
now, like SR does not work for me. It'll kill me if
mhm.
I do that. But
Yeah,
like other things, for example, may work. So you
right.
gotta you definitely gotta figure out for yourself what's gonna be good for you.
Yeah, when I first came on my spiritual journey, I was very religious with it. I was like, oh, if you're not an SR, you will buy it. If you're not vegan, you will buy it. And then I had to change because I realized a lot of people they got their own way of doing things. So it don't matter what you're doing. If you're watching this live, it don't matter what you're doing. You could do whatever you want. Like as long as if it makes you feel better, that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So I know a
Exactly.
lot of people who are in the spiritual community who are not on SR, and they're more successful than me. That's a fact. I know a lot of people
Mhm.
who are not vegan, they're more successful than me. That's a
You know
fact.
what? I want to put it like this because this is how the Federation is put it in my head just now. I thought it was
Mm,
cool. So they'll say, look at like metabolism. Like if I could eat all damn day and gain no weight, but then my sister, she has one cupcake and then she's gaining a few pounds. So the same diet won't work for us. It's just
right.
like energetically. Like I find the the way of being a reflector and an emitter works for me, but for someone else, that won't work. They're like, "Mm-mm, I can't do that," or
Yeah.
I need to do semen retention because I have a lack of. It's like having a lower metabolism. It's like I have a low amount of natural love energy, so semen retention is gonna be bomb. Me, it's like someone I have way too much love energy, and SR will kill me. So then I
You know
can't
how
do that.
many? Yeah, you know how many people told me that they try to go on SR, and they feel like they want to punch, like they want to punch a wall, like it makes you want to do those type of things. So it's not. I can see why a lot of people are afraid to do those type of things because like they say, "Oh, I'll go in there for 1 week," and I feel like I just want to punch everyone, like because it's a very like aggressive, potent energy. So you got to know how to handle one. You have to know how to handle that energy, and then two,
Mhm,
you got to know how to transmute that. You got to know how to transmute that all that potent, powerful energy, and then three, you got to know how to protect yourself with that energy because a lot of people going to kind of want your energy, like the opposite gender and all that. So you gotta know how to protect your energy. So it comes with more responsibility
mhm,
that not everyone could be ready for. And your life,
mhm.
your manifestations, they do come in faster, but you can still manifest without it from what people who are around me tell me. So yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I like to be open minded. I'm just an open minded individual.
And that's how it should be, and that's actually leads into things like, for example, plant medicine like cannabis or mushrooms. I found cannabis I didn't wanna smoke cannabis at first because I don't wanna plus we're the only Black family in this town. I didn't wanna be the one to start smoking. So, after the Federation told me, "You need to start smoking weed, it's gonna help you," and then all of a sudden, weed became legal in Canada, and then weed was sent to my house from my uncle and all this, like, universal stuff happening and was saying telling me to smoke. And one thing I noticed with cannabis was that it opened my mind up. So, like, you'd watch a movie and you'd watch it high, but you would see it differently than when you watched it sober. And so with that, I realized, okay, cannabis is super helpful in, like, opening up your mind and, like, there was so much more benefits, like, it would open you up energetically. That's why, like, people say you have high thoughts because your mind is malleable now. So,
Mm,
you have to watch when you're high, what you're immersing yourself in and what you do. At the beginning, I would start smoking and I'd be full of fear. And because I would just be panicking, but I
mhm.
used that. I would smoke on purposely to get through that fear. Like, I would smoke and then panic, but I'd sit in my room, put some nice music, meditate, and I would work through that fear. Now it's at the point where I smoke to connect more with the galactic beings or the universe. So I find it very useful, and keeping an open mind will make spirituality way easier. Yes, it has its downfalls because it's like, okay, you're like, you hear all these things and you're like, okay, the earth could be flat or could be a sphere.
Yeah.
How do I know that? It may take you time. I'll tell you right now, the earth is a sphere. Okay. But you will get that where it's like you're fighting it, but then you realize later as time goes by.
Yeah, what you were saying about the gym, like you walk in the gym and you look at this person, you look at Amara, and you hear her thoughts about this and that, her ex, and you look at Johnny, and you hear he just, he just got divorced. That's the type of things I go through as well. When you are an empath, you have open channels, so sometimes you got to close those channels. And I'm glad you brought up about the shield, putting up that shit, put up your shields, so you don't hear all these people's thoughts. Because I'm not trying to like, it could be overwhelming
Mhm. And like I
to
say,
walk.
so
Yeah.
you could try doing a shield. I'm curious what you do, but what I do is I just emit a certain energy which reflects all of theirs. And then I do it that way. So then if a message does come through for somebody, like Archangel Michael comes or like someone's guides pull up and they're like, yo, like, can you tell them this message? Then I could easily still receive that information. But generally emitting a certain energy, like say I'll focus on like lion energy and being at the gym to work on my uh to be focused on my lion spirit, for example. Focusing on that, then I make that energy within me. So then all of a sudden I feel fiery. I feel like a lion or a dragon. And I focus on my like visions of Lyra and how much I fought in Lyra, and I focus on that, and that emits that energy out. And then if I want to receive, then I don't focus on a certain energy or I don't emit a certain energy, and then I could just feel everything. So you could definitely you guys could try one of the two if you're an empath. Either you create a shield or you focus and you learn how to create an energy, which will then reflect energies coming from outside of you.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's some
I
helpful
find that
advice.
much better because then other people could still benefit from your energy. So you walk by someone and
Mm,
they feel you, they know who you are, even though they may not be conscious, they feel you. And that still allows for your spiritual work that you always do.
mm. How do you handle when you're in public or you walk somewhere? How do you handle evil eyes?
Hmm. Um, Whenever I go out, I will see dark spirits or like reptilians a lot and things like that. And like if I say, for example, I walk by somebody and they have a spirit attachment to them, it's like a dark spirit. Sometimes there's not much I could do, but sometimes if I can and I'm supposed to, then I will send one of my astral guards to handle that. But I like being able to feel the whole, say I'm at the mall and this happens, I like to be able to feel the whole mall. I could tell how many dark beings are here and who needs
Mm,
help where. And so, yes, at first feeling energy is chaotic and it was hard, but now it's amazing benefit because I know what's going on 100% of the time. I know, okay, I need to go over here because there's a dark spirit and me being there is going to cast it out or whatever it is. I find it a huge benefit to feel it. And again, it will be chaotic. But if you want to be really, if you want to step into your spiritual power and you want to mess with the astral realm and do things like this where you're fully stepping into the astral war, then doing this will be a huge benefit. It's just like going to the gym. You know, it's really hard, and then your muscle gets stronger, and then all of a sudden you realize how powerful you could really be.
hmm. So when you go into like a store, there's always negative beings in that store. There's darker spirits in that store somewhere.
I do notice that a lot.
Because I
Sometimes there won't be,
yeah.
but a lot of times there will be, or like I go to my mom's work and then there's like a dark being standing in the corner. And I tell my mom about it. I'm like, you know, there's a whole ass demon standing in the corner. And
Mm,
she's like, oh, is it by that girl's over there's desk? I'm like, yep, it's standing there. It says it's waiting for her because it follows her everywhere. And she's like, oh, that girl's been talking about how she has a spirit attachment dark on her and she knows it. And she's really dark and she's fighting all that. So I would get confirmations from outside that, you know, everything I'm seeing, what my guards are telling me is for real.
yeah.
And depending on the situation and what I'm supposed to do, I will handle it or I will leave it.
Mm, yeah. When I walk into some stores, sometimes I see like I feel like the store is off, but then I go into maybe like Whole Foods, it's all like chill. But if I go into a cheaper store, it's something else going. It's something else taking place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always tell people prioritize energy because you
Mm,
go to the Cineplex and then it feels off and you know something's not right. But then, like you said, you go to Whole Foods and it feels real nice. So the energy right away, the you are the radio. Like analyze how you feel. It's like when a radio is emitting a frequency, right? People think it's coming from the radio. Really, it's receiving a frequency, a radio signature, radio frequency, and then emitting it so you could hear it. See yourself as the radio. You're receiving energies, and all you got to do is analyze how you feel to know what is happening in the environment, and it'll be really easy for you.
mm. How does one open their third eye?
Let it open naturally. So when this was about 8 years ago, I was heavily into astral projection, and people were talking about open your third eye, open it, do this and do that. You can open it, and then my spirit guides were telling me, "Don't open your third eye. Let it open naturally. Your future self will thank you." And then I came across a video where someone said that, and I was like, "Okay, well, how do I let it open naturally? I don't want to. I want to see spirits tonight. I don't want to wait 5 years."
Mm,
And it was like, "Your future self will thank you." It's a good thing I listened because to this day I thank my younger self. So when you let it open naturally by using it, it's just like if you don't use a muscle, it gets small.
Mm,
right? But then when you use it, it gets bigger, and you gotta really keep using it for it to get larger. It's like that for your pineal gland. You'll notice sometimes it pulses when you use it a lot because it's literally expanding.
dang, that's
And
crazy you said that because some people told me that. They told me that, well, they said when you work on your third eye a lot, it's just like a muscle. So you got to use that third eye. It's like a muscle. And then
Mhm.
it's also crazy because like some people when they start the spiritual journey, like the third eye is always pulsing. It's always pulsing. It's always like, ooh, you feel it. And then like a year or two later, it just doesn't do it no more. And they're still
Yeah.
spiritual. So what does that mean?
So like so you're saying like when they use it and then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore, like it's not.
No, like their third eye is still open, but it doesn't pulse no more. What does that mean?
Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll tell y'all, my third eye will go through those pulsating moments every once in a while in the year. It only happens when it's expanding. So, like recently, my clairvoyance is growing and my clairaudience, so I'm able to see the spirits clearer than before. But my third eye is literally expanding so then it can do that because it sees I'm using it and I want it. So now it like for a few days it was pulsing. My whole head felt like it was going like this. And I was like, whoa. And all of a sudden I could see spirits. I'm like, whoa, I saw you. I saw that. So I noticed my abilities are growing. All of a sudden I'm gaining different type of abilities that I'm just discovering, and it's cool as hell. And then I won't have any third eye pulsating for months and months and months. But then it'll happen again once it's expanding. It's like see it as like muscle soreness. When your muscles are sore, you know they're about to get larger. It's like that with
Mm,
your third eye. It's like when it's pulsating, you know something's happening or it's being manipulated. Right.
yeah, you just broke that down better than anyone I've ever heard in my life. When your third eye pulses, that's it getting stronger. So
Mhm.
like mine doesn't pulse no more. So I'm like, okay, I know my third eye's still open, but it already went through its stages because it used to pulse like every single day, especially in 2020. So I'm like, okay, like when's why don't I get it no more?
Mhm.
Because the muscle already then grown, so you broke it down like better than anyone. Yeah.
So if any of you do like third eye meditations, you'll notice it does that. But as you get more advanced, you do our meditations, doesn't really do it no more. But it's because you've gained the abilities and then you got to use it. And maybe it'll be like a year where you're using those powers. And then it gets to the point where um, you're lifting heavier weights spiritually. So then now your third eye's got to get larger. So before my readings were really shallow with people, it'll be like, oh, I could tell you like this, you like that. Now it's deeper. I see your life. I talk to your guides and all of that. But when I started doing readings a lot and I started getting deeper, my third eye was getting heavier work. So after a while, like at the end of the day, I'd be dead tired and my head would be aching. But then after I'll do like a third eye meditation where I let light in and I like expand it. And with that, it's like you're telling it, I want you to expand, I want you to expand. And I'd mix it with that. And then after a few weeks, all of a sudden, instead of being able to only do two shallow readings, I could do five shallow readings. Or all of a sudden it's like now I can only do two deep readings. Now I could do 10 deep readings before I get really tired. So it all depends on how spiritually aware you want to get. If you want the astral realm to be clear as day, you see a spirit standing right in front of you, just like a human being, you need to set that as a goal and make it normal where it's like every day you're like, okay, well, I could see a spirit today, or you prioritize energy. Like I always tell people that because then you'll feel energy no matter what. If you start peeling away the layers of reality with your eyes when you go places, you start looking deeper. You're like, I want to see more than the physical. Then you're gonna notice your third eye starts hurting because now it's
Mm,
like you're using a different area of your psychic abilities that isn't mastered yet. So then it pulsates, and then you keep doing that, and all of a sudden you can start seeing spirits because now it's grown.
mm. What happens in the astral plane when you try to like when someone tries to like take you out? Like, can you? I heard you can't die in the astral plane, right?
Oh yeah, the only way you could die in the astral plane is if your physical body dies. So if someone were to like stab you in your sleep or something, that's like the only way
Oh,
you can
okay.
get trapped in the astral.
So what happens if you're in the astral plane? Someone has a sword. They like they just go straight through you.
If they kill you while you're astral projecting, you will pop back in your body really quick and then see you got stabbed. And then from then you'll go back astral. Then you'll be standing right beside your body. You're like, oh my God, like I can't get back in because my physical body is literally dead. So that's like the only way you could really get trapped.
No, but like you're in the astral plane and someone tries to stab you, your astral body.
Oh, you will have an energetic pain. So it's just like if you were to take a light sword and you were to stab a dark being, it's like you're helping it. You're literally pulsating it with light, which means if it wants to stay a demon, it has to get away from that. So all you gotta do is cast light out your hand, and it's gone. But if you were to take a sword and stab it, it most likely would. It's like you're destroying it with light, so it'll be gone. But someone stabbing your astral body, most of the time, if you're fighting something and your astral body gets hurt, you'll just go back to your physical and you'll be drained. That's the most that I've noticed so far.
Wow.
Like when I go to the astral realm, if I go and decide to fight in the astral war all night, and most of the time I won't remember a lot of it, I'll just remember that I'm fighting, and then I wake up and I'm drained. Like I felt like I've been to war. And then I asked my all my other soul family, and they're like, "Yeah, I fought in the astral war last night, and I'm really tired too." So that stuff could be energetically painful for you.
Mm. Can you share your most interesting astral projection story?
So, okay, so this happened one time when I decided to reality shift, which is still basically astral projection. So, the whenever the Federation wants me to undergo a test, they would have me do things like this. So, like for example, I have two cool stories, but I'll tell this one where I reality shifted. So, all of a sudden, I wake up in this different reality, but it's this one. It's like this reality, but it's different. But I noticed everybody hated me in this area. So everybody hated me, and even my parents hated me. And I spent a whole 72 hours in the astral realm. But when I woke up, I was only asleep for 7 hours. So that is what scared me a little bit because I was living in this reality as though it was real life. I woke up, I'd interact, I'd wake up and I would go um, doing whatever, and then I would go back home and go to sleep and wake up. And I was like, okay, this is not astral, this is real life. And then it got to the point where at the end of the astral projection, this is at hour 72. I said I was because I spent the first day curious and wondering what's up, and I spent the second day crying because everybody was. I would walk down the street, people were throwing milk at me, and people are just like really mean, and I didn't know why. It's day 72. I said, "All right, you know what? Fuck it. If everybody wants to hate me, they could hate me. I don't know why, but I'm gonna do what I came here to do." And as soon as I said that, and I got out the energy of I need them to like me, the whole like it's like in a movie, like when you get sucked out and you're like getting sucked through a tunnel. That was happening. I was like, what is going on? And I was getting sucked out and I was like, whoa. And I got sucked out and I woke up in my physical body, and I literally woke up and I was like, wait, okay, so this is physical. I had to check. I'm like, okay, this is real life then. This is real. And my sister walked in my room and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And they wouldn't understand. I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden they came in my room. My whole family came in my room and they were just hugging me up. And they never really do that. So that was kind of a weird coincidence. That wasn't a coincidence. But it baffled me. I was there for 72 hours and I asked the Federation, I was like, why was I there? They said, we sent you there. And I said, why the hell? I said, are you out of your damn mind? Why would you send me there for a whole 72 hours? Like, what was the purpose? And they told me, because you had to learn a lesson. And I realized what the lesson was. It was because I was too focused on people liking me that I needed to get away from that whole idea altogether.
Mm,
And that was a huge lesson for me. And I've had many times like that where they would have me undergo these tests that are real. They want me to go to another reality in the astral plane. And I'd ask them why. And they said because they wanted it as real as possible, because they wanted me to react as though it was real life, because that training you would take with you in the physical while you do your missions in the physical. So I would had a lot of those, and they I would always be grateful for them after, but in the moment, it's like it's hell. But you
yeah.
always take it back with you in the physical, and you're like, wow, that really was training because I needed that.
Mm. What is who when it comes to the Galactic Federation? Who's the head of the Galactic Federation? Who's
So
like
we
who?
have a commander,
Okay.
and then we will have like high councils. So there'll be
Okay.
like a Pleiadian council, Arcturian council, and all of those, a Draconian council.
Is
And
there like
then
an
from
Anunnaki Council?
Yeah, there's that as well. So they'll have the commander of the federation and then the councils, and then they will have the greater groups and then just a regular civilian of the galaxy. So it's very similar to governments we have here, but without the ego. Here we see governments as super egotistical, and most people when they hear about galactic bodies and all that, they're like, "Oh, well, isn't it going to be corrupted and stuff like that?" Yes, there was times in galactic history when it was like that, but these beings are way more advanced than humanity. So don't imply your, you know, egotistical idea.
What the heck? Oh, they just they try to I don't know. I think they try to freeze you, bro.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of it.
What the heck? Yo, y'all see that? Hey, oh man, this is crazy. Y'all see that? Hey, but yeah,
This
no
happens a lot
scams.
actually when I go live or I go on a podcast. People, it always glitches out.
Yeah, it could also just be your energy because sometimes things are energetic things. So energy alone, is a real thing. It could just be your energy. But
Could be as well.
so you're saying with the Galactic Federation, they basically are basically their own structured order, but they're it's like the government. They don't have an ego.
Mhm. It's
Mm,
very soul based because these beings are now they're on different dimensions. So they're like they have ones that are all the way up to the 12th dimension that are part in the Galactic Federation.
mm,
And we're in the third dimension. And it's like we decided as Starseed to come here and incarnate in a physical body to help humanity get to the higher dimensions and get into galactic society. So to them, we are the brave ones because we were like, all right, we will go on the ground. All the other beings are like, I'll help from up here. I'll help from over here, okay? Because
yeah,
humans are very primitive, and once all of you get past life memories, you'll see how primitive humanity is. Like, you know how many times I wanted to go home? I'm like,
you're right,
it's very low, but I came here to help humans get out of that.
right. So that's how it is with a lot of souls, a lot of spirits before they came. Like we were coming onto this planet. A lot of them, when they saw we was going to Earth, they was like, "Nah, you crazy!" Like,
Yeah.
"Nah, we not doing it because this is it's a hard task. It's like all Madden 99 level pro. Like you gotta go do like the hardest mission ever. Everything is maxed out level. Hardest the hardest level. So that's why you see a lot
Yes.
of people in depression, a lot of people sad, a lot of people. The world. Look around. Just look around the world. This world is effed up.
Mhm, and we consider it normal. We're like, yeah, this is normality. So when people hear that, they're like, okay, Earth is bad, but it's not that bad. But when you see what home looks like and you see what all the other civilizations look like and you look at
Yeah.
Earth, you're like, whoa, shit, okay, it's
Right.
horrible.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's always good to make your own reality. Play your frequencies, manifest what you want, get your vision board. Doing things like that gets you like you don't want to be stuck in all this 3D stuff what's going on because it really mess up your mind.
Hmm. I have a question for you. Have you delved into your Anunnaki heritage yet?
No.
Okay, I can't wait for that. When you get memories and you see home, It's gonna be really cool. I see you had a dream. You keep having a dream about like you in a house or something. Do you remember that? This like dream where you're in a house and there's like it's like the suburbs though. This house is spread out and you keep going outside and looking up and there's something. Do you remember that dream?
I don't recall it now, but it may come. It may come back.
Okay.
I don't recall it now. No.
Your guides keep talking about that dream where you're looking up and you're seeing it looks like UFOs or something like that. You keep having dreams like that, or you're gonna
I've had
start
a dream
going
like
like
that
that.
like a year ago. Yeah.
Okay, because they're trying to signal you. They're really trying to signal you a lot.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. There was
You
another
got
question.
some deep Anunnaki heritage. That's super cool. Actually, my sister's Anunnaki, and
Mm,
she's not awakened like you yet. But when she is, then she's gonna realize bigger things. Like I actually gave her a bracelet that had different planets on it, and I said this will be a reminder. You may not remember yet, but each of these resembles a planet that you were in charge of protecting, and her soul like lit up. She was confused in her mind, but she was like in her heart, she's like, "Thank you, Annie," right? And she now wears it every day, and she's slowly waking up. Like I'll always be like, "Oh, you're so Anunnaki," right? Like you're so like just do it like this. But she's used to, Anunnaki are very royal, so they're not used to doing a lot of work and have people do stuff for them. So for her, it's a big thing. But with you and your Anunnaki heritage, you are very much a warrior. You're gonna remember a lot of your fighting that you did for other beings. That's gonna be really cool.
facts. Another thing I wanted to say is anxiety. I notice a lot of people when they go on their spiritual journey and everything, their anxiety gets worse. Like that's the thing. When you wake up, the anxiety gets worse, the depression gets worse, everything gets worse. And that's why a lot of people like, dang, they have a hard time on their journey because it's like it just becomes a sad world, like everything, because you can see someone, you can really read them, you can read everything about them in a
Mhm.
heartbeat. So um what's your perspective on that?
In terms of like being able to see everybody's everything.
Right. On everything amplifying when you go on your spiritual journey, like the world, just you seeing what the world really is.
You won't want to trade it for anything. At first, it's overwhelming because you're just used to the physical, and all of a sudden, maybe you could feel energy and feel people's thoughts or spirits walking up, and you could see it and hear it talking to you. It's a little overwhelming, but once you learn about the astral and how this whole spiritual thing works, you would not want to trade it for anything because you're like, it's there. Might as well be able to perceive it. Like, I want to be able to protect my family from demons and I can hear them walking around the house because they can't penetrate the shield. And I see and I know what their intentions are and all of that. So I rather that and fight them all the time than not perceive them and have them do whatever the hell they want. So once you start perceiving it, you're like, might as well just see the full thing and be able to protect people. Because now, like, for example, once you get your past life memories and you realize why you came here, and you start to see the other layers that you're going to be working on and you see the 4D war, like you go outside and you see demons and angels fighting in the sky, you're like, I want to join, like I want to be able to protect people. And you see how much the spiritual affects others lives, like like for example, this is what made me want to get more into it because I was kind of abandoning it a little bit. I didn't want to feel no
Hmm.
more. Some of these kids, which are royal star seeds actually, um, they were my mission for a very long time. I knew they were going to be an assignment, and the Federation would always tell me about them. At one point, they were telling me about spirits attacking them, and I would always be warned, told, "You got to help them. There's going to be spirits attacking." And they would text me, "Vinny, spirits attacking again, attacking and it's doing this and that." And I would give them advice to help them fight it themselves, but it would get to the point where I would just send a guard to their house to protect them for a certain amount of time. And then their parents would call me and be like, "Can you come over? Because this spirit's doing this and that around the house." And then I would do the spiritual work and I would do the astral work. and then it's like they're protected, and their parents see me as their spiritual protectors because they've had the experience with it themselves. So it became to a point where people that are spiritual and awakened, they see you as, like whatever your role is, they need you for that, which my role I noticed was to lead and protect. So then I was like, all right, let me do that. People that aren't awakened, they think you're crazy for it. You talk about these things and they think you're crazy. But I'm like, don't worry. All of y'all are gonna see the truth soon and then realize that everything that's going on right now, everything I'm doing is for real. And then you're gonna be asking people like us for services and you're gonna want to be there. So no
Yeah.
matter what, we're all slowly moving to that awareness, some before others, and that's on purpose. Seeing the astral realm, seeing all of that, it becomes something you would never want to trade in your life.
Mm. Mm. Well, we're gonna answer some questions, y'all. If y'all got any questions, we'll answer a few. So everyone watching, let's get a few questions in.
Does all melanin beings have Anunnaki heritage? Now, you may notice that the people that created human beings on this planet, at least, were first the Anunnaki. And we are a mixture of different extraterrestrial races, which that's a whole nother galactic topic and why that happened. But melanin is associated with Anunnaki, and the original humans, Adam and Eve, that were the first genetically created humans, were made in image of God, the Anunnaki. And then once humans started spreading out, then other ETs would start putting their DNA in humans as well. So you could say that, yes, all melanin beings have Anunnaki heritage in their blood, but they may not have Anunnaki heritage in their soul, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So, like, yes, I'm a black man in like an Anunnaki body, but I'm a Lyran being. So my understanding is Lyran, but I'm in a body that is more associated with Anunnaki blood.
He asked, how do you know you lowering your energy? How do you know you're boosting your energy?
Okay. Right away, it's emotion. Emotion is energy. So if you are excited and you're happy and you're less like you're so happy you feel like you're gonna burst, that's how you know you're basically that's how you get to 5D. Is it's a very high frequency. You know you're lowering your frequency when you start getting emotions like anxiety, fear, because that frequency is very slower. So you'll know your energy from your emotions. Study that. If you're feeling anxious or you're feeling fear, step above that. Step into courage. Courage is right above fear. It's like even though you're afraid, you're still doing it. That's courage. So stepping into that is how you step right up above fear. You see a dark being and you fight it anyways. That's courage. And then that's how you actually defeat the dark being. You know when you become enlightened, you guys will see on this one chart how there's like shame is at the bottom and then like enlightenment's at the top. That's
Yeah.
that's frequency. So
Yeah.
when you reach enlightenment, you realize everything is one and all of that. And it's kind of hard to explain, but you realize the bigger picture and you basically become like a Buddhist. Like nothing can lower your vibration anymore. But until then, you're gonna be kind of going up and down, and the lower you go, the higher you go. It's like you learn how to defeat lower energies and how to handle them in order to stay in a high vibration.
Okay.
Looks like we seen 333. There we go, guys. Here we go.
So he said, does your physical diet affect your spiritual and third eye?
100%. Now, not all the way like people say, but like I noticed I actually did an experiment with this energetically. So on days where I would eat a lot of meat and I would have like pizza and then maybe I'd have a burger and then cookies after, even though it tastes real good, I noticed I felt heavy. Like I felt like I was weighed down, and my astral body, I could literally feel it being heavier, like it was gonna stay in the physical body. Then when on days where I would just eat fruit and vegetables, I would have noodles that is just vegetables, and I would have like just watermelon and all that stuff. I felt lighter. I had so much more energy, not just physically but energetically, and I felt like I could hop up my body really quick. Like my astral body was bouncing around, like it was ready to go. And then when I'd go to sleep, I would astral project way longer and way deeper than on the day where I was eating or the week where I was eating heavier. So it does for sure have uh, an impact, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it because there's a lot of beings out there who they eat meat still, but they're high vibrational. And there's other ones that they decide
Facts.
not to eat meat at all and they've ascended quicker. So
Hmm.
it's like you can do whatever the hell you want. Just
Right.
know that
There's
meat
even
will bore you a little bit.
I know some people too who they eat meat and they're still like they still vibrate high. Like I noticed that. I don't know if y'all ever seen people, but there's still some people who vibrate high and they eat meat. So it just
Yeah.
depends on your willpower. Like I've seen people
Mhm.
who eat donuts, like donuts, and they're like astral projecting.
It's true. And you know what? Let me say this as well. As you get high vibrational, your body will reject things. Like at that point now where I can't eat ice cream. I love me some ice cream, but I can't eat it no more because my body
Mm,
rejects it. Or like I was eating Reese's peanut butter cups the one time and I had like a little third eye awakening, so I got more sensitive all of a sudden, and I could literally taste the chemicals in the Reese's peanut butter cups, and that's my favorite chocolate. So I was eating it, and I could taste the chemicals in it, and I wanted to throw up. I was like, "What the hell? Like this is my
mm.
favorite chocolate, and I want to throw up eating it." So your body literally starts to tell you, "Okay, we gotta abandon this. We gotta abandon that. I can still eat cookies, but." Then I notice it's like it's it makes you feel weird. And then if I have like if I want to have gummies, I need to eat vegan gummies. Those will feel good. Or whatever it is. Juice, awesome, all that it all depends on where you are energetically and then you start to your body starts to adjust.
So we got a question. Why don't females tell us about they hand-eye powers?
What do they mean by that?
Yeah, you're gonna have to elaborate on
Elaborate.
that question because what's hand-eye powers?
Mhm. What I will say, maybe this will help, is that women definitely have way more power than men. And I
Like,
most of my incarnations actually have been as a woman. This is my first time being a male in many incarnations, but I had to be a black male for this one. And women have a crazy power that all beings in the galaxy are aware of. Like even the Draconians, like the Dark Empire, they're led by women, by female reptilians. So women have a power, a deep spiritual power, and they see them as like the gateway to the spirit realm, which is super cool.
hmm, that's really interesting.
Mhm. Not
So
that men are weak, but yeah, women definitely have a deeper spiritual connection than
yeah,
men.
they could tap in. I know they could tap in very, very fast. Like if a
Mhm.
woman, if she goes on a spiritual journey, she gonna tap in very, very, very fast, faster than
Yep.
a man. And it's like lightning speed. And they always got that gut feeling. It's like it's more hyper present. Like their journey is more hyper present. It's more in their face. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah. All right, see the next question. Let's see.
Someone said, "I don't dream or remember my dreams. Does that mean I'm not connected to source?" No, sometimes it takes time for you to remember your dreams and your astral projections. So what I will say, uh, use things to increase your dream recall. So sometimes a lot of times you go to the astral realm, and if you're not astral projecting a lot or dreaming a lot or consciously trying to do it, you're gonna forget a lot. You wake up and you start slowly forgetting because your dream recall and your connection to the astral and the spiritual realm is not that strong in that sense yet. So as you get strongly attuned to the spirit realm, you'll start remembering almost everything and it'll get way easier. Try to improve your dream recall. Try dream journal, sunlight under your pillow, setting intentions of what you want to do and where you want to go. And over time, it will for sure strengthen.
So we got this question: is okay? How do we find what being we truly are?
So finding that out right away, start with what you're drawn to. So you may find you're drawn to certain stories. Like I was always drawn to uh, like the stories of princesses and how they start out weak and then negative stuff starts happening to them. They get thrown in hell and then they become strong, powerful women, warriors. And I realized that story is actually my story. Like those are my lives, and I lived like that in my lives. And like I don't know if you guys know Zero Suit Samus or Samus, like the character, game character. Like that was literally the definition of what my lives looked like. I was a bounty hunter, and I was a princess of Lyra, and I fought alone in the galaxy. But I was always drawn to those stories before, so
Mm,
then I realized, okay, that makes sense. Or I grown up always knowing I was royalty, but I thought maybe it was from my African roots before the slave trade. But then I realized it was actually soul level. So
mm,
see what you're drawn to in terms of that. See what you're drawn to when you look up different starseed heritages. Maybe you're more drawn to Arcturians for some reason, or you're drawn to water beings, and then that leads you to Syrians. Then you realize you're a Syrian, stuff like that. So just find what you're drawn to, find what you love, and then that's going to lead you to more of your awakening. And the universe is going to show you like where you lie, where your soul lies. It's going to be interesting how the universe supports your mission on finding yourself. Okay. Have you got an update for 2025? Okay. 2024 is going to be a lot more ET stuff happening. I'll say that. And
mm,
2025 is going to be uh it's going to be a little bit more peaceful and green. I'm always told green, green. So we're focused more on getting into the green way of living, I guess. 2024 is going to be a bigger transition year where everybody's transitioning into a fourth dimensional consciousness. Everybody's talking about spirits, demons, angels, and all of that. Everybody knows about that. In 2024, it's going to be almost basic knowledge that spirits and shit is real and aliens are real. But again, the Federation always tells me they push it back sometimes because humans are predictable and unpredictable at the same time. So it's like, oh, well, they're going to do this, but we never know. Maybe are they going to be ready for 2027 for our contact that we want to initiate that? Sometimes if it doesn't go as planned, they're like, okay, we got to push it back a year. So it won't be 2027, it'll be 2028 or whatever. They always push it back a year. So we are a little bit behind, but we are moving really quickly because this evolution, we've never seen anything like it in the galaxy. What is happening right now? We're in a huge galactic, memorable moment in history. 2025 is going to be very interesting.
mm. That's also going to be a 9 year too, because we're in a 7 year right now. So 2025, you add those numbers together. 5 + 2 + 2 is 9. Now 9 is completion. So there's something about 2025 that it's going to be a completing year. Something going to be
Yep.
completed that year. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a lot of curiosity. A lot of curiosity.
For damn sure. I
Mm,
think it's so cool when they show me the future. They'll be like, okay, you have to do this, so this, and then they'll show me a timeline, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I guess, like they'll show me a timeline of me in 3 years of where I'm going to be living. So they show me the programming or like the plan for my missions and where I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be going. And when they show me like 2027, like I'll tell you guys right now, Dubai is going to be the capital of the planet. like the whole planet that's going to be a capital of. I thought that was really cool, and it was showing me living there, and extraterrestrials walking around, and me living in a certain place and having this. So with that, I could see the future. They allow me to see a little bit of it, and it's always fascinating because we're seeing just that movement. It's like we're gonna get there for sure, but how we get there and when is all dependent on humans.
Mm. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. You know, it's been a pleasure to have you on here. I appreciate you a lot, King Cash. We're definitely, y'all want to see a part two? Let's get at least 500 likes on this video. You know, and comment down below who we should have on here next. You know, but is there anything else you want to say, King Cash?
I want to say this is really fun. Thank you for inviting me, by the way.
For
And
sure.
for all of you guys, follow, it's going to sound corny as hell, but follow your heart, because that is what will connect you to the spirit realm. If you want to improve your connection to the spirit realm, prioritize it and make it normal. You make it something normal and it becomes normal because you have unique powers, not just the clairs that we talk about, unique individual powers that come to you and that only you will discover over time. So be patient with yourself, open up, and you will see the universe show itself to you. It's going to be crazy cool.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Love, bro.